What I want to do today is there's a lot of confusion of something that's called a Maki-Uchi in Katori Shinto Ryu, and comparing that to Aikido and comparing that to Iaido cut, because every cut is a little different, and I think the Katori Shinto Ryu cut is much different. So I get the most questions on why would you do this? So why would you be in this position, bring it up over your head and bring it down, just for the basic strike? So why are you doing, what's the purpose of doing that? Why is that different than, maybe Aikido, you're cutting down, or Iaido, you're cutting way, big motion. So what are the differences and why are they there? What's the purpose? So let me explain Iaido first. Iaido is more of a meditation with the sword, so it's very relaxed, calm, and you're trying to learn how to center yourself. So the cut is generally a bigger cut, so it's a big arcing cut, and you'll hear a lot of swooshing with the Iaido style cut because it's meant for to look very stable, very relaxed, very zen-like. So you're cutting out there with a strong cut, strong, powerful body into the cut. Okay, now what I want to do is explain an Aikido cut, because Aikido is a little bit different. Because if you watch most Aikido people, they'll do this, they'll pull it down more, so they'll pull it down. And there's a good reason for that, because when you're training with a partner, if you get this big arcing cut, you're gonna injure somebody's shoulder. So if you come in and you cut way out there, you're gonna maybe injure their shoulder. So it's better if you move and then cut down to your center so that they can protect their arm, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so Catori is one of the oldest systems of weapons, or samurai weapons, in Japan. And so it's over 600 years old. So it was formed back when people used to wear full armor like this. So the cutting for Iaido and Aikido wouldn't necessarily work for somebody that's wearing armor, and I'll show you why. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen those online where they swing at the helmets that they make, and they basically swinging as hard as somebody can into one of those helmets that's well designed. They'll put maybe a gash in it this wide. So it's not real effective to have these big overhead cuts and crash into this helmet, especially, that helmet was on the ground and it wasn't moving around and somebody wasn't parrying or, coming at you so you could get a full swing on it. Whereas you wouldn't get a full swing if, somebody's actually attacking you in this armor. So this top of this helmet is not a vulnerable point. Yeah, it'd give somebody a headache as they're killing you. So if you look at his helmet, he's got this covered. There's some metal here. There's metal on top of here. There's metal on this. There's metal here. So you've got a lot of metal that you would have to get through. So where are the vulnerable places? Well, the mouth, the eyes, because you can see in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn him sideways like this. So watch so one part of this is called Maki-Uchi, bringing your arms up and out. So what I want you to do is I want you to see this thrusting action of the sword. Instead of a cutting action, it's actually a thrusting action. So I'm going to put him to the side so I don't hit him. But what I'm doing is I'm coming back and I'm thrusting at the end. So it's not an attack like this, it's a thrust. Okay? So that's part of because he's vulnerable in these areas where I can thrust into his body, where a cut would not be effective coming down here, but a thrusting motion would be a cut. Now, why do I bring the arms up? What's the point of doing that? Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to show the reason why do we lift to the side and then lift up? What is the point of that? That makes absolutely no sense. Well, if you understand, he is going to be swinging at me, and he's coming at me, and if I'm just doing this overhead striking and lifting and striking, I'm vulnerable the whole way up and the whole way down, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why we're lifting the sword the way we're lifting. Okay, so I'm I have him using a bow, so you can see this a little bit better on the camera. But if he's coming at me and he's swinging at me, I'm going to use the tip of my weapon to block, okay? So I'm not going to just raise the hand. So he raises, he comes in with the bow strike. I'm going to use this as a blocking of some strike that's coming down towards my head. So I'm going to block. Okay? As he crashes into my head, okay, as he comes in, I'm going to block, and thrust into here and break his, nose or his face. So this lifting up has three purposes. So the first purpose is a block, okay, and I'm going to be able to push this off. And then I'm going to strike, okay, and then I have a thrust in the cut. So I've got three things in one simple motion like this. This looks real simple, but there's three things hidden within that. And that's why in Katori Shinto Ryu, we don't have these big arcing cuts. It's more of a thrusting cut than these big arcing cuts.